Women's Sports Mix.
Cambridge Radio.
Hello, I'm Alex Elbro.
And I'm Amy Gray.
And what are we?
The A-Team.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were going to do it with me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I let you down. It's like last time I messed it up. So
we did it right once.
Yeah, we probably should agree that before we start.
We just play that one out each week.
Welcome to the Women's Sports Mix Show, the fortnightly programme looking at local women's sports and promoting grassroots sporting opportunities for women and girls in the area.
And coming up on the programme, we are talking to Liz Pamplin, Assistant Manager at Histon Ladies, after their win away at Cambridge City on Sunday. And we'll look at the other football results in the area too,
including our trip to the Abbey to see Cambridge United women play QPR. And we talked to Nicolle Halksworth, manager and coach of the under-15s girls at Milton Colts FC, who recently started her own fitness company, Q Move Fitness, female-focused health and fitness and nutrition coaching.
And have we got some rugby too?
We do. I spoke to Fabs Howell from Shelford Women's Rugby earlier about their away game last weekend.
You're listening to the Women's Sports Mix with Amy and Alex. And on Sunday, October the 19th, it was a local derby. Cambridge City hosted Histon Ladies. I spoke to Stute's assistant manager, Liz Pamplin, about the game and that late goal.
We played Cambridge City 2 weeks ago and it was 2 late goals then too. So we seem to have... the girls have developed, it's really good. The girls have developed a resilience that allows them to go right until that final whistle. And that's a brilliant thing to have because it means that you're always in a football match, whatever the circumstance looks like, with 30 seconds to go.
And having played them a couple of games before, what did you make of this game? Was it similar? I mean, the scoreline was the same, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, both games are similar. I mean, Cambridge City are, they're established women's side in Cambridge, obviously, and local derbies are always kind of blood and thunder. And the thing is, a lot of our girls play under 18s for the Cambridge City JPL side, and so there's a lot of friendships on both sides, and players move between the clubs. So it's one of those where everybody really wants to beat everybody, but then at the end of the game, they're all friends again, which is actually really lovely. But yeah, because of that, there've been competitive games, both of them, and we've fortunately been on the right end of 2 very, very narrow, very close games.
And tell us about the 2 goals at the weekend.
2 excellent finishes. The first one was Emily Howe, who is a player who we've just re-signed, having had a bit of an injury layoff, and she came on in the game and scored quite soon after she returned to play, and she's a really good midfielder, and she scored a lovely lob on the goalkeeper off the volley, and it was a very, very good finish. She's got very good technique. And the second goal, again, similar. Jess has managed to knock one from outside of the area into the top corner, and Jess is an excellent young player too, and has been in really good form of late.
Jess McRae is a name we were discussing last year on the Women's Sports Mix. Also, Evie Nichols came up a lot last season and is having another great season. But what do you make of Evie's performances so far?
Evie's, again, a superb young player. She plays up front on her own, and for a young player, that's a really difficult thing to do. But she leads the line so well. She works so hard. And she's always doing extra training to work on her finishing. She's had a superb season so far, and it quite rightly leads the league goal scoring charts.
And when I spoke to Darren back when Histon Ladies announced you and Darren joining the club, he said promotion was the aim. You're certainly putting yourselves in a great position to go for that. Is it something you talk about within the team, or do you take it game by game?
It's a bit of both. When we came in, we said to the girls as well, what are our goals? Has to be promotion. Second last year narrowly. So, promotion has to be the goal. We talk about it. We want to go up. We want to get better and better as a side. But again, you talk about game by game. Here's another game. We want to win this game, and we want to keep our record going. 100% record in the league, and you can't argue with that. Sometimes it can lend a little bit of pressure. But we want to thrive under that pressure, and absolutely we're aiming to go up.
And looking at your next two games, they're both against Stevenage Women Development Team, playing them home and then away. They're second in the table. They've got 7 wins and 1 draw. These are going to be good games. What can you tell us more about Stevenage Women Dev?
Yeah, these are the games that are going to kind of probably decide what the season might look like overall. And Stevenage Women's Development are a good side because Stevenage have undergone a very big change within their women's setup, and so their first team are aiming for promotion, and so they've brought quite a lot of good players in, a couple of ex-United players, so they're really pushing on. And so as a result, what's happened is players who were in their first team last year, some of them are playing and helping their younger players in the development side, which has made that development side really strong. And they're hoping to push on too, because if the first team get promotion, the higher their development side are, the better it is for the football club to promote people from within. They've got a good young side. They'll be really threatening at the weekend and the following week. We're really looking forward to the fixtures.
Thank you very much to Liz. And I'm sure everyone knows by now, Darren Marjoram and Liz Pamplin, formerly of the U's, now at Histon, manager and assistant manager there. It's going very well for them, Alex.
It is, isn't it? It's really lovely to see that they've gone in there and they do what they do best, getting great results.
And they've brought the quality that they had at the U's over to Histon ladies. And as Liz said, 100% record, top of the table. They are now, as we discussed, they were playing second in the table in their next 2 games. So please do support the team. I think they say on their socials, bar open before, during and after, something like that. So there will be drinks if you go to that one. So that's Histon ladies against Stevenage FC Women Development on the 26th. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. at Bridge Road Stadium. And then the reverse fixture is the away game is the following one, which is on 2nd of November. And all being well, we hope to be speaking to Liz and Darren on the next episode.
Yes, that'd be great, won't it? To catch up with them and see how they are. We haven't really spoken to them properly since last season sometime.
It all happens in the summer. I did speak to Darren for your show, but
yes, you did.
It'd be good to hear more from Liz and Darren. And what that means for the table is Histon at the top. But if we look at Cambridge City, something we discussed on the previous episode about the goal difference, and Liz said those were both tight games against Cambridge City. Histon got the points, both were 2-1. Although Cambridge City obviously not as good a start to the season, their goal difference -3 is, even though they are down in those relegation spots very early on, but looking at it, that potentially, as my dad says, worth a point, Alex.
Exactly.
Worth a point.
In fact, when I spoke to Fabs earlier about Shelford, she mentions about bonus points being really crucial, even though you don't think about it now. If you're not getting them now, when you come to later in the season, you can't pick them up, you'll be kicking yourself for those.
And Cambridge City, they've got Thetford Town up next on the 26th. And that's away to Thetford, that one. And then they're back in action at home on the 2nd of November. Fulbourn Bluebirds, they played Biggleswade United at the weekend on the 19th. And that was a 4-0 loss for them. So we're talking about goal difference. This is the thing. Fulbourn have come up a league. That's the difference, isn't it? They've done really well. They've come up a league. They're finding their feet. Whereas Cambridge City, yes, they got relegated. Everyone knows the club. They've got that quality there. So Fulbourn Bluebirds.
And it's always hard to go up and then start playing at a different level to what you've been used to. And of course, if you've gone up, it's because you've done very well. It's quite hard to take these scores sometimes.
And they've got Mulbarton up next for Fulbourn, and that's a home game.
Excellent.
So let's look at the U's, Alex, because, we were at their, not the last fixture, the fixture before that, when they were playing at the Abbey.
Yes, which
QPR.
Is one of their kind of, every year they play a few there, don't they? And otherwise their home ground is St Neots. And so we like to go and support them at the Abbey, don't we?
We do.
We do like to have a little stroll around there. It was very well attended, wasn't it? Record attendance.
It was a record attendance, 1,074. So well done, U's women.
We were those 2 on the end of there. And very nice hot chocolate there.
Yeah, this is, if you go to a football game with Alex Elbro, you get
It's all about the food and snacks.
And you get hot drinks. This is, I think, because I've gone to football throughout my all the time, you didn't get you brought a snack in, and you didn't have your hot drink. I was inspired by you, actually. When I was at the football at the weekend, I got myself a cappuccino.
Oh, get you.
I know.
Was it right?
It was okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's not like a cafe type thing. It's not like it's boiling water onto a pre-made drink, but it actually wasn't as bad as it could have been. And you did bring us a little snack, didn't you? I don't know whether we even should say this, that we snuck in our snacks. Tunnocks tea cakes.
We did buy, I will say, we bought snacks there. It just happened that I had these Tunnocks tea cakes, but they got demolished pretty quickly.
Were they going off? And you thought, right, but I'll give one of those to Alex.
I just saw them and I thought I'll take them. But we did buy snacks while we were there as well.
Well, that's it. We wanted a bit of both, didn't we? And now, going to the game, I mean, I know the snacks for me are very important, but the game, it was literally a game of two halves, wasn't it?
It wasn't it? It really was, yeah. At half-time, it was 1-1. They'd gone in front and we'd got the goal back, and it was looking like, yes, they'd had some great chances. We'd had chances as well. Injury to Cooper in, I can't remember what minute it was in sort of midway through the first half, so she had gone off. But it looked like we still could get something from it for sure, didn't it?
Yes,
everyone was in it. However, in the second half, really a couple of mistakes, wasn't it?
Yes, I'm not quite sure what happened.
There was some.
It all happened very fast, especially the first one.
First one was like a lob, and the second one was some kind of miscommunication with the keeper and the players. So both of those, you felt it could have maybe been avoidable. So 3-1 may be a bit disappointing with how well the U's have done so far.
Yeah.
But a great crowd there.
But also, I think didn't Cooper come on for a little bit longer and then went down again and then was literally kind of helped off.
Yeah, just having a look. It was 26 minutes.
Yeah, and then
she
carried
tried
on
to go on.
And then something else happened. And I think the people behind me were saying, "Oh, she's got a meniscus tear." I thought it's very interesting that you can predict that. You can diagnose from right across the other side of the pitch.
That's amazing. They must be doing something.
Exactly.
I think maybe they were students that were studying. I don't know.
Yes, I was listening in on their conversation a lot.
We didn't mean to.
No, they were speaking very loudly, and they were saying that I think someone that played for Darwin College, I'm presuming, and then they were saying, can that mean I can play in the something else? And so they do play. Some of them were playing football, but I think not necessarily in this country as their first, but they've come to college here and then started playing.
Yeah, and plenty of young people there.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was great to
see.
Lots
of families.
Always lots of families there. It really is a good place to go to for the women's football. At St Neots, if they're there at the Abbey, if that's maybe a bit more convenient. I don't know when the next Abbey game is.
Very affordable as well.
Yeah.
Remember this, when we strike for equality and then we get all the prices to be the same as the men's, that would not be a good day.
We'll take the wages for the players.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll keep to what we're paying. So what that means for the table is Fulham are top, Norwich City second, Bees, then QPR, then Cambridge United. So we've slipped a little bit down, but still 4 wins, 2 losses for us so far.
Again, in the future episodes, we are hoping to talk to some of the people involved with Cambridge United, aren't we, as well?
Yep, and next up for the U's, they've got a cup game against University of Nottingham, and then they're away to MK Dons.
You're listening to the Women's Sports Mix, and we're talking to Nicolle Halksworth next about her approach to women's health and fitness.
Cambridge Radio Women's Sports Mix.
You're listening to the Women's Sports Mix with Alex Elbro and Amy Gray. Now, last season we spoke to Nicolle Halksworth about her love of football from an early age and her coaching with the girls at Milton Colts FC. And she's now manager and coach of the under-15s there. And today we're really pleased that Nicolle is back to talk to us about her female-focused health and fitness and nutrition coaching, Q Move Fitness. Hello, Nicolle.
Hello, hi.
It's lovely to see you again. Now, what motivated you to train in women's health and fitness specifically, if that's not kind of an obvious question?
Well, I think obviously the most obvious thing in the room is that I am also a female. So, I've done a lot of sort of soul searching over the last few years about how to improve my own health and fitness. And I've been on a little bit of a journey, understanding more about myself and what impacts my health on a day-to-day, but also monthly basis. And I want to sort of learn and experience things that I can then sort of impart with other people and help other women on their journey as well to become more focused on their own health and fitness and just be generally healthier, happier and stronger in their daily lives. So that's kind of my mission, really.
Sounds really good. And what do you specialise in then when you train women to help to reach their fitness goals?
So, I mean, I've just sort of recently qualified now as a nutritional coach as well as a personal trainer. So for me, it's looking at the individual and understanding what their current goals are or barriers are or challenges are that they might have in their personal lives, their professional lives, and also just generally, and then help them understand how they can overcome some of those challenges, looking at what their nutrition is like, what they're doing, and then just making some changes really that help to boost their confidence, their overall sort of like mental health as well. So a lot of it is, linked to how we think psychologically about ourselves, but also about the world around us. And it's just sort of stripping back really and really understanding that person and focusing on the sort of female physiology as well. So, we're quite different to men. We have different needs, different nutritional needs, different support systems that we need in place throughout the month as well. So, yeah, it's really just sort of bringing all of that information together and providing somebody with a plan that they can then implement with my support and hopefully, make some really nice positive changes within their own world.
So it's called Q Move Fitness, but it's everything that would go into feeling better in all ways.
Yeah, so the reason why it's called Q Move Fitness is because the female body is quite different, and the way that we sleep, eat, train, exercise varies quite significantly from men. And up until sort of, the last sort of 10, 15 years, research and studies and exercise, it's all been focused around or built around the male athlete. And there's been so much research over the last few years looking at actually how we differ as females.
And products and things were all...
Everything's geared. Yeah, everything's geared towards a male kind of market. But like I say, in the last few years, there's been a lot of research into actually female physiology and how we need to make some different changes. Some stuff is very similar to men, absolutely, but a lot of it is quite different.
Yeah, I think in the past it was always like you'd go to the gym, and if you worked out every day, and probably on a plan that was originally designed for a man, and you worked out every day, and then that should be enough to keep you fit well, and no one used to look, especially unless you were actual elite athletes, about nutrition. It was just like, eat carefully or eat sensibly or whatever. And I think more and more research is being done saying it's more important sometimes than some of the training you might do on a regular basis, because you think, I'm in the gym, so therefore I can tick that box.
Yeah, I think nutrition is probably one of the most important factors in women's health particularly. Even throughout the month, what our dietary needs change, and from needing more sort of fats and protein at certain parts of the month, needing more carbohydrates towards the end part of the month, and that can really impact your training and how you feel and things like that. So from my perspective, I've always been really interested in actually how do we optimize our nutrition, and how does that actually impact how we show up every day, how we perform, how we think, and everything in that regard. So I'm not just looking at the female from how well she can do a burpee, but actually I really want to make sure that they feel strong, that they're building muscle in the right way, they are losing weight in the right way that's sustainable, that's not going to impact their hormones if they lose too much weight, because that's a big thing, and just making sure that they're stabilized, their hormones are stabilized, the sleep is good, that they're able to show up to work, with energy and feeling strong and in control of what they're doing, what they're thinking. And yeah, it's been a big part of my life, understanding that and understanding my own body and what what nutrition I need at different times of the month and throughout the year, seasonal changes as well and things like that. So it really does impact us. And working with the girls at the football club as well, and just getting them to understand that there might be a week where they show up and they're, it's their time of the month and they're not really feeling on top of their game and they have a bad performance, and then understanding why that might be.
Interesting what you said there about needing fats and proteins at different points to needing carbohydrates within the month, because I don't know about you, Amy, but generally I'll eat the same thing all through. I might crave something at different times and I end up eating it without kind of realising it.
I might know I need to look into it, but I don't know what the answers are. Yeah. I know that there's things that for my age that I need to look at, and because I'm a woman, but it's like, where do you start if you're not someone that's trained in that area?
And the other thing is, from you mentioned, is that, it's self-confidence confidence, it's what you've been told all through your life, that this, that and the other, what you might have been told at school, that you're no good at this, or you're not right for PE, or you're not a sporty person, therefore you don't need to do any of these things because that's not for you. And that really isn't true either, is it?
No, and I mean, from my perspective as well, this isn't just looking at female in terms of actually improving their sports performance. This is about their general day-to-day. And, some of the women that I've worked with over, come to me because they're struggling with chronic stress, or they're not sleeping very well, or they're just constantly feeling, anxious about things, and not really sure why. And sometimes that is purely down to diet and what they're eating and when they're eating it as well. So at the beginning of your monthly cycle, actually, you're more prone to eating, your body craves more fats and proteins, and that helps with hormone synthesis and energy and building muscle and things like that, and supporting your kind of like your daily functions. And then as you kind of come towards the latter part of your monthly cycle, your body craves more carbohydrates. You probably know that in yourself as well if you're reaching for sort of more starchy, carbohydrate loaded food, and there's a reason for that, because your body actually craves that because it needs the energy to do what it needs to do in that phase of the menstrual cycle. So there's a physiological reason why we need to eat certain foods at different times of the month, and if we don't listen to that and don't understand that, then we're under optimizing our own body, not only for sport but actually for making sure we've got healthy hormones, and particularly important through teenage years, but also perimenopause and menopausal women as well. So it's when we have the biggest surges and kind of fluctuations in our hormones. So that's when it's kind of really important to have a good understanding of what's going on.
We need to listen, don't we?
Yes, we do. And I say you also mentioned seasonal changes.
Yeah.
If we don't know it, but you do feel like there's different things that you want to have in seasonal times, and sometimes some of those may not be as good as others, or you can give ideas for better things that would be better for that, if you see what I mean. It's all very well to cuddle down with a big bar of chocolate and a duvet in this time and go into hibernation, which is kind of how I always feel as it starts getting darker, but they may not be the best things for me at that time, I'm guessing.
Well,
or a bit of both.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're designed to, in the winter months, to hibernate more. We are designed to do that as a mammal, but I think we've got a society now which sort of changes that kind of natural rhythm, and we have artificial lighting. We're in a room at the moment with artificial lighting, so our bodies are kind of adjust to that, and we're perhaps not as in tune with our circadian rhythms as we perhaps should be, which has an impact on when we go to bed at night, when we wake up in the morning, and then if we're not fueling properly for the day, then we have crashes in energy. You probably all know about the sort of 3 p.m. crash. It kind of, for women particularly, it coincides with pick up for school and various other things going on. And actually, I've definitely suffered this in the past, where I've just felt absolutely wiped out by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And quite often, it's if I look at what I've eaten that day, I've been really poor in my choices. But little changes you can make a big difference to how you show up and how you feel and your energy levels. And you shouldn't feel like that, is what what I've learned. You shouldn't be feeling like that.
When you were in before, Nicolle, when you were talking about it was under 14s, because it's now under 15s at Milton Colt, how much you put into the everything for the girls, which is, yes, you're here to play football, but it's not actually just about me coaching you football. I'm thinking about all the other things that could impact your performance that maybe I can support you with. And you do teens for Q-Move Fitness as well, don't you? Is it all ages for that?
Yeah, so one of my sort of drivers for setting up Q-Move Fitness was because of the girls that I coach at Milton Colt. So they are in their, teen years, so they're in their fluctuating, hormonal years. Massive change for all the girls, socially, emotionally, psychologically, but also physically. So they're going through huge change at the moment. And I've obviously been through that myself, but I had absolutely no direction, no coaching, no idea, really what was happening to my body and what I could do to help my body through that period of time. And, if anything I can do to help the girls and support them through this and come out stronger on the other side is really, really important for me. So yeah, I ran through the summer. I was running sort of weekly outdoor fitness sessions for my girls that train with me, but also I opened it up to other girls, not just footballers actually that came along, and it was really fun, really successful. The sessions were to music, and the girls, could really have fun and let go, really. And actually, you see how much they actually do want to get better and stronger and fitter, and how much they enjoy it. And they really enjoyed the yoga at the end as well. So that was quite a surprise. I wasn't sure how they would take to that.
It's brilliant because, again, like you say, growing up as a teenager, you just had to go through it. Yeah. It wasn't like it was a thing you had to just get through, and your hormones were all over the place. Your moods were all over the place. Now, I'm sure that if you do, learn how to eat sensibly, learn how to do some sensible exercise or fitness or health things, and yoga, mindfulness, all these things are really good. They're really going to help your own moods and your own self-esteem and your own confidence, which will give you better choices for other things which may or may not happen if you're not doing any of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think I mentioned this last time, there's a huge stat around at the moment that Women in Sport published that girls at this age at 13 to 15 drop out of sport at alarming rates, and there's no real need for them to do that, other than that the environment that's created isn't designed around their best needs. So being able to, provide an environment where the girls feel like if they're having a bit of a crappy week, a crappy day, that they can still show up. They might not perform as well as they would on another week, but that's fine. They're there, and they feel part of it, and they've got an environment where they feel they can be themselves, and they can have down days, they can have really strong, powerful days, and getting them to understand that is really important. And if I can impart any knowledge onto anybody, it's just to make sure if you create the right environment for people, then they will flourish in that environment. And there's no reason why girls should be dropping out of sport through the teenage years, or fitness, or taking care of their health. They just need guidance and mentoring to help them understand themselves. Yeah.
And you have it sounds like it's quite individual. You speak to people, see what they need. Is there also classes? How does it work if I'm interested in coming along?
So the sessions for teens, they are, just very inclusive. At the moment, I'm sort of focusing on the girls that do the football, because that's I have access to those girls already. So I've created an environment that's for them. But I also work with individual teens as well. So parents might come to me and say that they're worried about their teenage daughter, or their teenage daughter might be a swimmer, for example, or gymnast and stuff, but just needs some extra support around that sport that they do, or that activity they do. So whether that's sort of personal training or coaching, nutritional support, that sort of thing. I work with girls there, but girls tend to like the social side. So they like the smaller group environment. So we tend to make it a bit more social and fun for them, just to show up in a space that they feel that they can just be who they are, really.
It's sometimes quite intense if you're doing a one-to-one.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to hide.
No, exactly.
And for women that are sort of, I guess the girls, is that like up to 17 is your girls group?
Yeah, it's 13 to 17 it's kind of the teen girls, really. It works really well for girls that are homeschooled as well. So if they haven't got access maybe to PE in the same way, it's a nice little sort of outlet for girls who are homeschooled. Again, I can do small groups for homeschooled children, which is quite nice. But then adults, it's women, really. I specialise a little bit in sort of 35 plus, just because of the nature of what I've been learning, and also where I am in my own life stage. So I feel like I've got lived experience. And I kind of feel like I'm going through it with my clients, which seems to be quite well received, because I'm not a light year away from where they are. I'm there with them, living and breathing it myself. I'm in the mud with them. So I feel like that has quite a good resonance, really, with the clients that I have, and it's just nice to see the changes in them. And I have a client that I'm working with at the moment. She said she looks forward to it every single week. So,
and is that individual and different classes, or is it?
I'm focused mostly on individual at the moment, just because I'm growing slowly. But I did run some adult group classes during the summer. It's something I want to do more of, especially outdoors, because I think it's so important to be outdoors. That has its own benefits far beyond the exercise. Just being outside and getting the vitamin D and just being in nature, everyone knows that that's something that we should be getting more of. So combining fitness with being outdoors is something I'm going to be doing more of next year.
And you say it's sort of a growing thing, isn't it? So it's really fun to see. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the Milton Colts a little bit, but before that, if anyone does want to get in touch, how do they get to you for the QMove Fitness?
Yeah, so I have a website, qmovefitness.com, or you can email me at Nicolle at Q Move Fitness, and I'll respond to you there. But yeah, just if you want to have a little chat with me, then I offer some, free consultations just to get a bit of a flavour for who you are and what your needs are and how I can help. So.
That sounds brilliant. We mentioned it earlier, but you are the manager and the coach of the under-15s Milton Colts now. They were the under-14s. And you were so inspiring last time about your journey from football and how much you played and then wanting to encourage girls. How are they doing now? You were saying you've had a flurry of new people. Have you noticed a difference in their attitudes after the Great Lioness win over the summer? Do you think that's something to do with it, as well as other factors, of course?
Yeah, so like you say, it's, I'm coaching the under-15 ladies at Milton Colts. I've been coaching the core team now for I think this is our 6th year. It's been lovely to see them grow over the years and over the seasons. And this year I feel like they've matured into young ladies, and I feel like the coaching that I'm doing with them now is actually starting to sink in, which is nice. And they are a very competitive team, so they want to win. And yeah, we have 18 girls now signed to play with us, and 16 every week turn up for matches, which is fantastic. And like I said, they're very competitive. They do want to win. The whole team mentality is they embody the values of the club really well. So they're a very friendly, welcoming team, but also at the same time, they are, like I say, very competitive and supportive of each other. And it's just been quite a lovely journey. If they've been influenced by the Lionesses, probably. They wouldn't probably tell me directly, but I feel like that movement has just made it so much more accessible for girls anyway, and more sort of acceptable for girls to play football, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of role models now, isn't there, that they just weren't back in the day.
No, so the whole thing is brilliant, really. I mean, I can't complain. We've got 4 or 5 teams in our club now, and I know that our league grows and grows every year. So it's almost like it's never not been around, really. So... yeah.
Which is great. That's how it should be, shouldn't it? And
exactly.
If anyone's listening that wants to get involved with the football, is there still chances to come along to training or see what's going on at the club?
Yeah, in my team, I physically couldn't take any more girls, which is a great position to be in. But within the club, there are other opportunities. We have our Wildcats programme, which is for girls that are at the development stage of football. So if you've never played football before and you're age 5, between 5 and 12, then we do have a Wildcats programme, which runs on a Saturday afternoon, which you can come along to. It's very affordable as well, so it's a great way just to kind of come and get introduced to football. And we do have some other girls' teams, under 11s, under 12s, under 16, under 17s, and then my team. So there are other opportunities to get involved, and there are lots of other clubs around as well. Yeah,
so. I guess that's the thing. If they're not, you'd point them in the right direction for somebody else anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Nicolle. It was so great to have you back in, and excellent to hear what you're doing with Q Move Fitness. And I think we talk about sport a lot in here, but also great from a business sense that you've taken all this knowledge and passion that you've got and turned that into a business. So best of luck, and thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's been lovely coming back.
This is Cambridge Radio, Women's Sports Mix.
You're listening to the Women's Sports Mix on Cambridge Radio. Shelford women's rugby team had an away game at Bridgnorth last Sunday, the 19th of October, and I caught up with Fabs Howell earlier to hear how it went. I started by asking her all about the game.
We had a really good game. It was a long way away, so we travelled all the way up to Bridgnorth, which is away past Birmingham. So that Midlands area of our league is pretty big. So it was a long way to go, but we got there, we got the win. We were a little bit sluggish kind of to start with. I think we probably could have warmed up better, got out there better, and maybe scored a few more tries, if I'm honest. But we should be delighted to have got the win anyway.
And it was 28-7, so you can't be too disappointed with that. I know if you missed some tries that you wanted, I guess that is frustrating.
The tricky thing for us is obviously that's a fantastic scoreline, but you get an extra bonus point if you get 4 tries, and we didn't quite get that bit because we had lots of penalty kicks. So fantastic scoreline, but just didn't quite get that bonus point, which would have been lovely.
Of course, and put you right up there, wouldn't it, as well, especially early in the season. And I guess that's hard to tell if you're not at the game to know what the scoreline's representing and about the bonus point, because it's not just done on how many points you get, like say in football, if you score so many above, you'd have a goal difference or whatever. You only get the bonus point counting on tries.
Yeah, so you can get a bonus point for more tries. You can also get a losing bonus point if you lose, but you're within 7 points of the opposition. So there's the opportunity to get more points, and when you get to the end of the league, those 1 or 2 points really do make a difference.
Of course, and you don't necessarily worry about that so early on.
Yeah, so we're doing really well at the moment. We're up. I think we're probably sitting second in the league at the moment. I think it's just like a mark of how kind of the standards that we hold ourselves to, that we're on the road getting good wins and still wanting more.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And also, you mentioned there about, maybe we could have warmed up a bit more, a bit sluggish at the start. But how long was your drive up there? It's a long time, wasn't it? And I do wonder whether that has an effect on you.
It does. It's tricky. I left my house at 7:30 on Sunday morning, and we had a 2 o'clock kickoff. So it's a long way to go. On the bus down there, we do manage to stop on the way to kind of have a little leg stretch. But still, when you get there, you kind of got to switch on and change things around.
So that's definitely noticeable difference between the away and a home game. And when you see them again at home, maybe the scoreline will reflect that.
Yeah, I hope so. I think they had quite a narrow pitch, and one of our big strengths is we've got some really speedy wingers out on the side. So it'd be nice to see what they can do with a little bit more space.
So can people have different size pitches then?
There are kind of regulations, but there's like a minimum and a maximum size pitch. So you do find them a bit different. We play on an artificial pitch at home, which is a very different surface to the very kind of wet, muddy Midlands pitch we were on at the weekend.
Yeah, and I think you get used to that, don't you? The difference is probably quite incredible.
Yeah, you can definitely you can run faster on an artificial pitch. You get kind of slowed down by the mud on the grass sometimes.
I wonder, will they find it different then coming to play at the AstroTurf then?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be very different for them as well.
That should be interesting. So that's a league game. Now your next game coming up is Sunday the 26th of October, this Sunday, against the Wyndham Wasps. But this is a cup game, so tell us about how that works.
So you play throughout the year, throughout the season. We'll play in our league, and that's kind of you play each team, you play home and away, and at the end it's all done on points. The cup is an extra competition, it's a knockout. So you play, if you win you keep going, if you lose you get knocked out. And they usually hold the cup finals at Twickenham, which is very exciting. So it'd be nice. I've obviously been lucky enough to play at Twickenham a couple of times, but it'd be nice to go and be able to do that with Shelford if that was a thing that could happen.
And do you know the Wyndham Wasps? Do you know what your chances are?
Yeah, we should have pretty good chances. So they're currently playing, I think, a league or two below us. But you know, they're a good club. They've been around for a long time. We used to play them kind of back in the day before we got promoted. I know a few of the girls who play over there, and they're a really good standard. So we should get, like, if you look at the placings and where we all play, we should win this one. But you never know. You can't be complacent. If you go and you're complacent, that can be the absolute nail in the coffin.
Absolutely. And how are the new players settling in? I know you had some new signings at the beginning of the season. How's it all gelling?
Yeah, I think it's really, really good now. We had a couple of Fijian girls who come across to play for us who've been excellent, but Fijians tend to play very fast, quick, offloady rugby. They definitely realised, I think, on Sunday in the pouring rain that wasn't so much of an option. So it's kind of an adaptation, but it's been good for us as well because we've seen a different style of rugby. So we've kind of changed up to play with them as well. And I think it's going to create this really nice kind of hybrid rugby. And we just need to make sure all the skills are there. It's just making sure that, you know, the right decision is made in the right moment.
Yes. And that comes down to everyone training together, isn't it? And getting into that team spirit so that you know roughly what you think people are going to be doing rather than stand there in panic, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. There's I suppose it's a lot out of your week to, you know, do 2 training sessions in a match, but the training is so important. And I think at Shelford, the other thing that we do is that kind of, we have dinner after training as a team. And that's when you get to know people. Kind of, we're doing some extra things this week. We're all baking and bringing baked goods around Diwali. So there's that extra kind of team bonding stuff. And if you do that, you really gel together as a team. You start to learn different things about different people. You make kind of your best friends. And that's, I think, when things come really special, because it is a tough physical game. And sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to get off the floor. But if you've got to get off the floor and go and help your friends, that's going to get you off the floor.
Definitely. It sounds brilliant. I'm really glad that it's going so well. Good luck for the Intermediate Cup on Sunday 26th, and we'll speak to you for the next one in November.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks very much.
Cambridge Radio Women's Sports Mix.
This is the Women's Sports Mix with Amy and Alex, and we do have some very good news to share with everyone. This is great for us, for everyone who's been on the programme, and I think for women's sport in Cambridge. The Community Radio Awards, Alex, we're a finalist.
Yeah, we're off this weekend, the 25th of October. We will be at the Community Radio Awards, being held in Bradford, City of Culture this year.
And it's a national event.
Yes.
Everyone across the country can go for these awards.
Yes, and we're up for Sports Show of the Year for our Women's Sports Mix. So thank you to everyone listening, and also to all the great coaches, players, sports people, health and fitness people that we've had on this year, because we couldn't obviously have done it without any of you, and we've been so proud to be able to represent everybody and bring it to the attention of everybody as well.
Yeah, we're so thrilled that it represents recognition for what everyone's doing in the area. We love broadcasting the show. Obviously we love doing it, but it's really about what everyone else is doing, and we're simply sharing it.
Exactly.
So we're fingers crossed.
Keep your fingers crossed for us both. We will have a fun evening, whatever happens.
Yeah,
we are
whatever
shortlisted to
happens,
5. We will let you know at the next episode. Either way, we've got to do either way, really, haven't we? Got to be fair.
Might be commiserations, but getting to that top 5 for the Women's Sports Mix, we're happy to have got to that stage. So I think either way,
it's a win.
We're very pleased. Yeah, and just a reminder, we mentioned this game on our last episode, Kodiaks. The Halloween game, which the Kodiaks like, they've got their goth bear outfits on. That is going to be the 1st of November at the Cambridge Ice Arena. They are playing Swindon Top Cats. Tickets available online and on the door. They have various adults, family concessions, all of that kind of thing. So that should be a good game.
And when I was speaking to Fabs earlier, she said that their whole load of this Shelford team, the women's team, are going to go along and support them. Woo-hoo. Because they've been hearing about it on the show and they've seen their stuff and they were like, we haven't seen ice hockey before, let's go for it. So there could be a bit of a collaborations going on here, a bit of switching up. It'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this is great, isn't it? Women's Sports Mix, Shelford Rugby, Kodiaks.
Amazing.
it's
Absolutely brilliant.
And it really is, if you've not been to ice hockey, and maybe you haven't, but go to it, see what it's about.
And it's in the evening, isn't it? On Saturday evening.
Yes. And a reminder also for Histon ladies, if you can, please do support them. Their home game against Stevenage Women Development. This could be very crucial for the league. That's the 26th of October, kick-off 2 p.m.
And of course we won't be there because we have to be up
so
north.
Annoying. We can't get here quick enough to go to the game.
Exactly.
So that's really disappointing, but come on, Steve.
And we'll be there for the other ones when we can.
Yes.
So it's probably time for us to say goodbye.
I think so. And if you're interested in coming on the show, if we're not talking about the sports that you like, wsm@cambridge.radio. Do give me and Alex an email. We're also on Instagram, women's_sportsmix.
Yes. And we'll see you soon. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Women's Sports Mix. Cambridge Radio.